everybody. Thank you for joining me for my NFL Picks video conference championship weekend edition. We are now down to the final four teams in the NFL. Always kind of bittersweet this time of year because, while it is often the most exciting football with the highest stakes, it also means the season is almost over. But we will soak in every minute and hope to finish out the season strong from a betting standpoint. Looking at my teaser from the divisional round, it did not hit. It was kind of over before it really started because in the first game, the Ravens beat the Texans by 24 points. They needed to come within 16 for the teaser to stay alive. It was looking pretty good for a while. It was 10-10 at the half. The Ravens were only up by a touchdown after the third quarter, but then they scored 17 points in the fourth quarter to kind of pull away. And the 49ers later that night beat the Packers by exactly 3 points, so that leg would have been a push if the teaser was still alive. And then the next day, the two totals had no problem going over, as I predicted. But, like I said, things were already dead by then. So the Lions defeated the Buccaneers, and the Chiefs defeated the Bills. So I would say every game last weekend was pretty exciting, other than the Ravens-Texans, because the Ravens kind of blew them out in the end. So we have the AFC Championship, Chiefs at Ravens, and the NFC Championship, Lions at 49ers. I would say I am hoping for a Lions-Ravens Super Bowl. I think I'm definitely a little sick of the Chiefs. It'd be nice to see somebody else get in there to represent the AFC. Ravens haven't been in for a little while, so it would be sort of nice if they can pull off the win and make the Super Bowl. I say pull off, they actually are 4-point favorites and they're at home, but it's hard for me to ever consider Patrick Mahomes an underdog, so even though he technically is. And then the Lions, of course, are just a great story. Detroit is a city that could definitely use a lift, and the team has been really bad and really irrelevant for a long time, and just the fact that they're even in the conference championship is a huge accomplishment, but it would be great if they could pull off the win. So I think that's the Super Bowl I'm most hoping for. I will say, as much as I don't want the Chiefs to make it, I also think Ravens 49ers would be kind of lame, just because it would be the two number one seeds, the two teams that got a first round bye, and whenever that happens, it always sort of makes me feel like the playoffs were irrelevant, and we might as well have just skip straight to the Super Bowl after the regular season because it was just the two best teams in each conference. The two teams with the best record ended up making the Super Bowl. So I'm hoping we get some variation in terms of a final Super Bowl matchup, but regardless, I'm just hoping for some exciting games. And I do have a few bets that I'm going to make. I've had a request for, to throw in some player props as part of my betting. I do bet player props occasionally. I usually wait until closer to the last minute to put those in because I like to see final injury reports and final numbers on all those. But there are a couple that I like for conference championship weekend, so I figured I would give those out in my video today. And then I have a bet in the NFC Championship on the outcome. So my first player prop is in the AFC Championship game. It is a anytime touchdown scorer, and it is for Noah Gray, the Chiefs tight end, the one that is not Travis Kelce, sort of their TE2, I suppose. My thought process behind this is that the Ravens are probably going to be double or even triple covering Travis Kelce. I think that is the best defensive strategy for them, especially near the red zone, inside the 20 or even inside the 10. And I think this could be an opening for Noah Gray. It also pays plus 950, which I think is good value. Again, most likely to happen, probably not. But, he's averaging a few targets a game, a couple catches a game. He hasn't had a touchdown for several weeks, and he's only caught 2 touchdowns this season, which, optimistically I think could mean that he's due to be a red zone target at some point. So I'm going to put just a quarter of a unit on this, 0.25 units, and then the final payout would be about 2.25 units roughly, about 2.25 units if he manages to get a touchdown anytime touchdown scorer prop. So we'll see. I still think Travis Kelce always finds a way to get open even when he's blanketed in coverage, so he still very well may be Mahomes' favorite red zone target this weekend. But I just think if the Ravens are smart, they will make it so someone else besides Kelce has to beat them. And I think it's possible that Noah Gray, the second tight end, is that someone. So that's my first bet. Noah Gray, anytime touchdown scorer, quarter unit, plus 950. My second player prop is in the NFC Championship. It is a receiving prop, and it is on Josh Reynolds over receiving yards. And my philosophy on this is similar to my Noah Gray logic. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be the top target for the Lions. He has been most Reynolds is kind of the second or third wide receiver for Detroit. But again, I think if I'm the 49ers, what am I going to do on defense? I'm going to make sure Amon-Ra St. Brown is covered. That if the Lions are going to beat us, they're going to do it with their second or third receiver, and we're not going to give Amon-Ra any wide open catches. So I think that this could be an opening for Josh Reynolds to get some decent yards, and the over-under is currently sitting at 36.5. He's topped this in most of the last few weeks. I looked at about the last 7 or 8 weeks of the season, and I think in all but 2 or 3 weeks, he's gotten over 40 receiving yards. So it seems like a decent spot for him. He is also a deep threat, so it's entirely possible he could get over 36 in just one catch if it's a big enough play. But yeah, I like the spot here. I like the, sort of more unsung heroes stepping up in the conference championship. And I'm going to put a unit down on Josh Reynolds over 36.5 receiving yards. And my final bet is sort of a pick from the heart, but I also think that there's good value. I'm going with the Lions money line at plus 265, and I'm going to do just a half unit, 0.5 units to win about, should come out to about a unit and a quarter if the Lions win the NFC Championship. If I was betting to save my life, I would probably pick the 49ers in this spot, but I really do think they're vulnerable. Brock Purdy is still young, still hasn't won a game as big as the NFC Championship. They lost it last year. And meanwhile, Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl before, so I don't think the moment will be too big for him. I think it's just a matter of if the team can click and keep their momentum going enough to win a road playoff game. It certainly seems like they're a team on a mission, and I think at plus 265 there is good value on taking the Lions here. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'll be rooting for them anyway, and it'll be that much sweeter if they win, if I can make a little money. So that's my final bet, Lions money line, and we will see what happens this weekend. And one way or another, I'll be back with some bets for the Super Bowl. I usually like to do more prop type of bets for the Super Bowl, so I will take a look and see what I like and be back with a video before the big game. And I may also, since there's a bye week before the Super Bowl, I may also do another video with a little bit of a season recap, looking at my futures bets and what worked and what didn't. So we'll see how my schedule shakes out, but either way, you will hear from me soon. So thank you as always to my new subscribers. Thank you to everyone who has watched and listened to my recent videos, and have a great night and a great rest of your week.